Hello, Kelly Bear here. Welcome to my channel. I am making my last video of 2023. Finally, this year is coming to a close. I can't wait to see the fucking back of it, to be quite honest, although I'm very aware that 2024 is likely to bring more of the same bullshit. Same shit, different year. Yeah, that's how my year's been. I'm tired. I think a lot of us are. But yeah, I'm filming this on Saturday the 30th of December 2023. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, but I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done today, like this video and a bunch of housework, so that tomorrow can be spent taking it easy. I'm going to be going for a walk at the park with Nomi and my neighbour and maybe my spouse. I need to check if they want to come. So that'll be a morning thing, and then I don't know, we're just going to take it easy. I was thinking of doing sort of a year in review video. I don't know if I am going to do that, but obviously if I do, if I'm too tired to film it off the back of this, then it'll probably have to be filmed in the new year, which is fine, because, you know, I think the first couple of weeks of the year is fair game when it comes to New Year stuff. Oh my god, I just realised I've totally forgotten that I have my channel anniversary on the 7th of January. I always get sort of thrown by it. I need to put that on there. It will be the 8th anniversary of my channel, or 8th birthday of my channel. Birthday. I'll be 8. Yay. Where does the time go? I don't know. I've checked. I've looked around the back of the sofa. I've looked under the bed. Like, I don't know where the time has gone. So yes, anyway, without further ado, or probably with more ado, because as people have noticed, I am really bad at staying on topic because I have a squirrel brain. It is what it is, folks. Strap in. This is probably going to be a long, I'm not even going to say I'm going to try and make this a quick video. I know this is not going to be a quick video. So if you don't like long videos, you should either watch this installments or just do yourself a favour and click off this right now. So the waffling commences. So this is 10 decks that I would like to work with next year being 2024, if you are watching this at some time in the future. Well, you will be watching this in the future because this is not a live, and some people do watch lives back as well. So anyway, I am already distracting myself. So I thought I'd very quickly go over the 10 decks that I wanted to work with this year in 2023 and how I did with that. Last year I think I actually sort of did a much more in-depth thing. I'm not going to bother with that this year because honestly I cannot be asked. Oh, Dr. Nomi, right on cue, sneezing and fussing. You alright, boo-boo? She'll probably get up on the bed or something, I don't know. So, or play. No, or run downstairs with the toy. I can hear. Anyway, sorry. I'm not going to cut that out. Again, can't be asked. I am tired. And I've been resting the last few days. I've allowed myself to rest for the last 3 days. Well, I had one day of like proper full-on hardcore rest, which was amazing. Like genuine rest. And a couple of days of like doing a little bit and taking Nomi to the park and just sort of bit like gentle days. A couple of gentle days. And I've really needed it, and actually my body is saying just a little bit more of that, just a little bit more. I haven't done any of the things that I was planning to do over Taintmas. Taintmas being the bit between Christmas and New Year, the perineum of the year, as it were, hence Taintmas. But I'm just going with it. Anyway, how many side quests have you been keeping out? Because I have not. So the decks that I wanted to work with this year, I'll list the tarot, and then I have 2 oracle decks. It was 8 tarot and two oracles. So the first one was the Astara Tarot. Yes, worked with that quite a lot this year. Really enjoyed getting back into that one. Really had some very profound readings with it, and it's one of those decks I will continue to go to again and again. The Wooden Tarot by Skull Garden. Yes, I did work with this, especially towards the sort of the top half, the front of the beginning, the top half, the front, the beginning of the year, top of the morning is the the beginning of 2023. I was using that quite a bit along with the Raven's Prophecy, and then also I used it quite a bit in the summer. Those summery, it works for summer as well, that the colours and the artwork, I don't know. So yes, Wooden Tarot did. Thoth, did not. I don't even know if I really did much at all with the Thoth this year, but meh, it is what it is. The Wildwood, a year in the Wildwood. I got halfway through the year in the Wildwood and then massively dropped off. Do I want to finish it? I do, but I don't know whether to just pick it up now, like in the new year, or if I just wait for where I got up to swing round and pick it up back again then. I'm going to see how I feel. I'm going to play that by ear. But I sort of, so that's a kind of a, that's a so-so. So it's not a yay, it's not an A, it's a, I kind of, I worked with, I worked with it and I did a lot of really amazing path working practices with it, which were in the Year in the Wildwood book. Like really profound experiences with some path working with that deck. So I probably worked with it more deeply than some of the other decks that I used this year, but so far as I'm giving it a wah because I didn't complete the year. I did 6 months, so that's a semi-success for me. Oak, Ash and Thorn. This was one that I sort of pulled every now and then, but didn't work with it as extensively as I was hoping to. It got gazumped by Thistledown, the Oracle, which made it into my top 5 Oracle decks of this year. That deck really just was doing something for me in 2023. I really, I mean, I love both, but the Thistledown was just giving me something I really needed. So I'm giving Oak, Ash and Thorn a little Shadowland was one that I wanted to work with. Oh boy, did I work with the Shadowland a lot. I mean, I think like the Shadowland, the Next World, those two that they came up a lot for me, and the Fifth Spirit. I'd say those 3 maybe are probably the ones that I pulled the most when it comes to like narrative decks, Smith-Wadey decks. So yeah, the Shadowland, big double thumbs up, double thumbs for that one. For Hexa Tarot, I'm giving a wah, and that was because I did work with it a couple of times. I did a full week with it at one point doing daily draws, and then I did, when was it? I did some stuff with it with the Pathfinder. I think that was for a week as well, and I think I shared that on my Instagram. That was a summer, I think. But I'm giving it a wah because I don't know how I feel about that deck. I don't know if I mean, I like the artwork, but I don't know if that deck is really working for me. I don't know. And I know that there's now a mass market release, but I have the indie version. I don't know if the books are different or if they're the same, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that deck. So I'm giving that a wah. I did work with it, so I guess it is a success, but I wasn't feeling it as much as I was hoping to. The Raven's Prophecy was one of those decks on the list as well, but I'd already been working with it towards the end of 2022 and I wanted to continue working with it, which I did. Again, it was one of those that I really used a lot at the beginning of the year and then sporadically throughout the rest of the year, so I guess big thumbs up. And then when it comes to the 2 Oracle decks, there was the Liminal Spirits by Laura Tempest Zakharov. And I did use it a bit, but it got, again, that one got gazumped by a sister deck being the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle. I just found myself kept going to that, back to that one again and again and again. And that one, I feel like it's a bit more accessible and a bit more, maybe it's giving me a bit more what I need. And the Liminal Spirits feels a bit more, I want to use it for very specific things. It's not something I'm just going to grab and pair with a deck more readily, you know, with a tarot deck, I mean, or a little more. And so, yeah, that I would say is a semi-success. And the final Oracle deck, the final deck that I wanted to work with, which is an Oracle, was the Pathfinder Oracle, also by Skullgarden. Yes, I did pull this one quite a bit, really enjoyed pairing it. I actually think it did pair really nicely with the full Hexa Tarot because of the colours there in those decks. Obviously pairs really nice with the Wooden Tarot, being from the same artist. They're very different decks, but they still like have a certain sort of synchronicity with one another. And yeah, just I really, and that made it, those last, the Anatomy of a Witch and the Pathfinder Oracle also were in my top 5. I'll try to remember to link those down below, but you know how to like find people's videos. You can just go to my channel and find it as well. So yeah, I say that was pretty good. So before I go into the 10 decks that I have here, I have Oracle and Tarot again. I think it's the same ratio. It's 8 Tarot, 2 Oracle. I haven't added in Lenormand. Lenormand was one of those things that I sort of come to and from. I sort of skip about with. I'm less consistent with Lenormand, so I'm just picking Tarot and Oracle for now. But yeah, there are going to be decks that I'm always going to keep pulling throughout the year, as well as wanting to work with these ones. So the Sasarabito comes to mind, the Next World, the Numinous, the Fifth Spirit has become one of those for me. The Triomphe de la Luna, specifically my Paradoxical Rose version, which I love. Squid Cake Marseille, Multi Marseille. All of those, the Dinosaurs de Marseille has become one of those. So there are decks that I'm going to always keep pulling. The Empty Cup Oracle, the Brian Frowned Fairies Oracle. They are sort of decks that I go to again and again and again. And yeah, so that is that. And then I do have some decks on my wish list and a deck that I'll have incoming hopefully from Kickstarter, but I'll go over that at the end. So with all that ado out of the way, shall we get into the decks? So this is a real mix of decks that I have here in front of me. They're all stacked up in it, and this is in no particular order of when or how or why I want to work with them, or which one is more important to me to work with. It's just that I've just grabbed them and lined them up. Although I've kept the oracles to the end just because that just makes sense in my brain, and I have put sort of narrative Smith-Waite decks first and then sort of Pippi Marseille decks next. Again, just some kind of cohesiveness to this list. But you know, one of these decks is new to me. I got at Christmas. A couple of fairly recent, aka in the last like last 2 months of the year, and then others I have had. Most of them I've had for a while, and you know, and for various reasons. Some of these are decks that I used to use all the time and just haven't been pulling much this year maybe, and others are decks that I've sort of had good intentions about sort of getting stuck in with and just have, excuse me, and I just haven't, but would like to make a concerted effort to do so in 2024. So you all want to see the new shiny deck. I got but one deck this Yuletide season. It's the only deck that I asked for, I believe, and I did ask Santa for it last year, but I must have been naughty because he did not bring it. But this year he did, and I was so like, I'm not paying that for a mass market deck because I'm a cheapskate. It's not I'm a cheapskate on a budget. On a very, very tiny budget. So I was, and it felt like, and I was like, oh, you know, if it was in Marseille maybe I would, but I don't know, I ended up using a lot of Smith-Waite based decks this year, which surprised me, funnily enough. So yeah, anyway, get on with it. It is the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot. This is the mass market edition. From what I understand, it's pretty close to the independent project. Can I has words? I need to slow it down because I get hyper and then everyone's like, this woman is too much. I need to go away now and switch this video off. The production quality is incredibly, like, it's really nicely done. I can see why it's the costs what it does, because it's beautiful. The box is beautiful, you know, it's beautifully designed, it's nice and sturdy. The cardstock is thinner than what I thought it was going to be, but I can tell that it's high quality thin cardstock, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of linen-y, is that a word? No, it's not. It's linen cardstock, but it's flexible but strong. And then we have a very beautiful hardback guidebook, which I have to admit, I've literally just sort of flicked through. I have not read any of it. This is the first time I'm really sort of looking at this deck because I wanted to save it for this video. So the Fyodor Pavlov, I'm going to have to pause because I've got some like brownie crumbs, I think, in my throat that I was eating before I started filming. Hold on. I had to wet my whistle as well. There we go. So yeah, the backs are this lovely sort of blue with gold stars. We've got this very shiny gilding. I'm wondering if this is going to be that like hardcore holds up gilding that I've got on like my Sasarobito and my Numinous Tarot specifically really come to mind. I've had those decks for years and they are two of my most used decks ever. How is I always say, like, what magic is this? Like, how is that gilding holding up? To me, riffle shuffling the crap out of them. I don't know. I think it's magic. Anyway, so we'll see what happens, because this will be, I bet this riffle shuffles really nicely because it's thin and flexible but strong, so I'm excited to do that. I'm not going to do a walkthrough of this because, you know, this came out over a year ago. There are plenty of really great walkthroughs out there. I mean, if you want to see me do a walkthrough of this, put it in the comments. I just feel like, why do you need to hear me? I mean, usually I do walkthroughs for myself to sort of I mean, if I get a deck that is brand new out there, I like to do a walkthrough because I feel like people want to see it. But I so rarely buy decks as soon as they come out these days. Usually if I'm getting a deck and sharing it when it's new, it's because I have backed it on Kickstarter and it's come through, so I'm getting it same time as everyone else, or as it's being released, as it were, or because someone has very kindly sent me you know, an advanced copy of something or something to review that's new, which has only really started happening this year, honestly. I mean, I have been offered decks to review or books to review in the past, and I've always turned it down. Cause, well, mostly it's been, a few of them have been from like publishers, and I haven't really been on board with, you know, the way that these publishers often, I don't know, it just, and I don't do this for money, I don't know, this channel is just for funsies, and I just sort of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I am tired and inarticulate, so this was a perfect time to make a video, clearly. But yeah, it's been really nice having some folks reach out. Actually, tell a lie, it did start happening last year because Stephanie at Three Trees Tarot sent me something. Oh no, that was this year, the Thistledown. I got sent the Thistledown from Three Trees Tarot. Logan at Larkin Legend sent me their Lilac Lenormand, and then Auntie Kay has sent me her Brown Witch Lenny, which I will be having a sort of review of this year, in the new year, which I've been enjoying working with. And one of her decks pops up in this as well, her other decks. But yeah, this I've lusted after this deck since it was released as an indie deck, but I couldn't justify it with all the price and the shipping and all that jazz, you know, yada yada, the story of my life. I really love Fyodor Pavlov's artwork. I would really love for him to make a really, like, his like erotic artwork. He's sort of what he's known for, erotic artwork. I would love to see him do a tarot or an oracle or something of that kind of artwork. And it would probably have to be independent, because I don't know if, you know, a mainstream publisher would pick up something quite so saucy, but you never know. I've also been really enjoying Mr. Freeborg's, Jens, Mr. Freeborg's, of Arcantum's, sort of Yuletide illustrations of like Krampus and stuff. And I'm like, actually, I would, Jens, if you are watching, you might be, I don't know. I would be super into a saucy, like a sexy deck with like kind of illustrations. Obviously, you can't make the sack jiggle like you do in those little GIF video things that you do with the butt going badonk badonk. But the artwork, yeah. So if you don't follow Mr. Freeborg on Instagram, you're missing out, let me tell you. So that is a deck that I obviously will be working with in 2024. Now, the next one is a deck that I've had in my collection for a few years. It is a mass market deck. And it's a deck that I've had quite a love affair with in the past. I was very eagerly awaiting this for it to be released. It's by Rachel True. It's the True Heart Intuitive Tarot. I can't remember who the artist is. The artwork is drawn by someone else. Rachel directed the design of the artwork, and then wrote the book, which I really, really love the book that she wrote. For that, I sort of go to that again and again. Sorry, I'm just sort of looking through it myself, which is really unhelpful when you want to share a deck on a video. I'm meant to be showing it to you. Again, lots of people complain about the cardstock for this one. I don't mind it. I mean, it's thin, but I don't know. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I think because I've riffle shuffled it so much, it's sort of got this really nice, like it's loosened up in a way that feels really nice. I don't know. Also, it smells amazing because this is one of those decks that I had like a specific oil that I would I would put like a drop on each hand and rub it. Don't worry, it was blended with a carrier oil. 1 drop on each hand, rub it through my hands, and then I would sort of read with this deck. It was a very specific way that I was using this deck. So it smells really, really good because the oil sort of have absorbed into the edges of the cards. It still has that, and the bag smells like it as well. It's amazing. But yeah, I really like the interpretations. I would have liked to have seen a bit more sort of body diversity with regards to sort of body size and ability. And you know, some like, I don't think it's particularly queer from what I remember, but it's got lots of sort of different skin tones and facial features and things like that, hair textures, which I do appreciate, which makes sense because Rachel True is a woman of colour. She's a black woman, and you know, she talks a lot about her experience as a woman of colour in the book and how it has sort of played a part in the way that her career and the way that she was treated with on the set of the craft and in the promotional stuff. Like if you see some of the promo stuff, she was left off. There was a reunion con that was going on where she hadn't even been invited. Like, it's just really fucking rude. Like, there are 4 witches in that film, and one of them is Rachel True's character, and like she's just as important as the other 3 witches. So yeah, so I like that she actually talks about that in her book. You're getting sort of tarot related to people's personal experiences, which I think is always good. So this is one that I want to sort of reignite my love affair with. I mean, I still love it. I just, you know, when you have so many decks and then you're also bringing in decks, and I did work with the decks that I had coming into my collection usually again like at the beginning of the year, because I get Christmas and birthday money. It's hard to get to all of them. I'm never going to get to all of them. I mean, maybe if I worked with one deck every 2 days, I would get to all of the decks in my collection, but I prefer to sort of work with a deck usually for a longer period of time, at least a week usually if I'm working with the deck. And even then, sometimes I might still just be like, I'm not feeling this deck today, and I'll pull a different one. But usually I try to. This year was the year where I was really putting aside decks for the month, and I was really enjoying pairing decks, tarot and oracle decks together. So I was actually, by the middle of this year, I was like looking through my collection and pulling out deck combinations for the month. I wasn't assigning a week of the month to them. I was being more intuitive on that front and just pulling the combo that I liked at the beginning of each week. But this was the first time I was really being, you know, more deliberate with my pairings throughout the year. And I think it's also because I was doing a lot of daily readings, which I sort of ebb and flow with over time. My practice changes. I'm sure everyone's practice sort of has sort of really intense periods of daily working, you know, daily tarot, and then sort of maybe once a month every now and then sort of have like a real fallow period. So I think that's why it worked for me. Usually what I would do is just grab decks that I'm really like enjoying, and also decks that feel a little bit more seasonal, and put them in my 2 boxes that I have near my altar, so they're more easy to grab, because these 2 heavy boxes also have heavy boxes on top of them, and like trying to get in and out of them is a faff. I mean, obviously I do it for videos, which I hate. 2024, get a fucking bookshelf to put my decks on. It's no room to put bookshelves. There's only one place I can put a bookshelf, at the top of these stairs here, and even then it's going to be a squeeze, but like it's the only place I have at the moment to put a bookshelf. But it's driving me bananas. These boxes drive me up the wall. So, and I would rather my decks be up the wall rather than me. So yeah, so what was I saying? I can't remember. Never mind. Let's move on. The next deck is one that I got in 2022. I think I was hoping to maybe work with this a bit more this year, just didn't get around to it. I do have the larger guidebook that you can buy separately for it, and I do have the poetry book that was written by someone for it, not the author of the deck, someone else, but yeah, it's like anyway, it's the Voyager Tarot, and actually Tom Benjamin did a whole thing about decks with keywords which he doesn't usually like, and this was one of them, and I think the Sun and Moon Tarot, which he's really enjoying, was one of them, and I haven't actually gotten around to watching those videos yet. They're on my watch list. I have not watched nearly as much TarotTube as I would have liked to this year. I'd like to watch more TarotTube next year, but then I'm also aware that there's so many more things that there's so many things that I want to do, and that's my problem all the time. There's so many things I want to make, read, watch, listen to, see, like I just, something always has to give, and living in a chronically ill body, it's usually my body that gives out. But I do want to be a bit more sort of interactive in the community. I feel like I could be a bit better on that front. I don't know. But yeah, so this is one of the decks that I would like to do a little bit more work with, and sort of get back on the larger guidebook and getting a look at that again, because I had gotten about 2/3 of the way. My classic thing is to get 2/3 to like 3/4 of a way through a book and then not finish it. That's like my specialty. Also, I usually have like a ton of books on the go at once as well. But yeah, so anyway, it's very glossy cardstock. This is not an original version. This is I think the old version from the 80s is actually smaller than this, because I think Tom Benjamin has both copies. This deck is an analog collage deck. It does have keywords. It's pretty wild. I do kind of love it. I mean, and in the large guidebook that you can get separately, I mean, it's out of print, but it's quite easy to get a hold of at a decent price, or at least it was when I got it a couple of years ago. It goes into all of the imagery in, like, nothing is by accident, nothing is by chance in this. It's really, really interesting. So I just that's one of the ones I want to get back in. So as you'll see, we've got a couple of Smith weighty ones. This one kind of goes a bit more off-piste. And then the next one is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. This is a deck that I haven't really used. I've had it for about 5.5 years, but I've never really worked with it extensively. And seeing that the Witch Sister deck came out by the same artist. Is it Julia Jeffries, or am I imagining that? I think it's Julia Jeffries. I saw Cody Tarot Readings from a Bitch do a really interesting sort of comparison walkthrough of both this and the new deck from the artist, and it made me realise I actually do think I prefer her older art style, her being the artist, and I there were loads of cards that I really enjoyed in the newer deck, but I feel like I don't know. I think I prefer this one. I don't know. And I was just like, actually, yeah, I have that deck. I should work with it. So this is on my list. And again, I'm being really shit at showing you cards. I mean, this one's an oldie but a goodie. I think most people have heard of this one. This feels a very summer/autumn to me, I guess, though. I was going to say because of the colours, but then this card feels very sort of winter, doesn't it? With the colours. But it's nighttime, so. So yeah, I'm gonna, it's, you know, obviously it's like a fae one. Apparently all fairies are white. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's meant to be like Celtic. I don't know. There's lots of redheads in it. Nice to see redheads, being a redhead myself. And apparently all fairies are skinny. This is why Brian Froud is my boy, right? Because Brian Froud, he for me is the ultimate like artist of my childhood. There are obviously other artists, older artists going back further. I'm thinking of like Bauer, for example, and then there are obviously more contemporary artists, but one that really resonates for me as someone that I really grew up with was Brian Froud, and you know, his Fairies Oracle, not the Heart Heart of Fairy. I don't have that one, but I do have the very original one, the first printing of the original one from when it first came out. And his fairies are, some of them are humanoid, some of them are not humanoid, some of them are pure energy, some of them are fat, some of them are thin, some of them are short, some of them are tall, some of them are like have dark skin tones, some of them are pale. Like, he really encompasses like a really diverse, wonderful, weird world of Fae, and there's a lot more of that idea of the Fae that I grew up with my nan, my Irish nan, being like telling me about basically the Fae will fuck your shit up. That's how I sort of I also grew up with like the flower fairies and that Victorian idea of fairies, and they're pretty and cute and everything, but at the core there was always this like Freudian / Irish folklore, fairy tale, unnerving vibe about Fae, which I respect. And so I always enjoy that. Anyway, now we go, so with those are like our narrative sort of story type books, narrational narrative. What's the word I'm looking for? Situational is the word that Tom Benjamin used. Situational decks. Now we're going into Marseille and Pip decks. The first one is this tiny little boo-boo. So this was a Kickstarter that I backed by RTK, who I mentioned earlier. This is the mini version of her Marseille Point de Vie. And I love it. I really like the sort of the way the cards come to life with these photographic backgrounds that we have in this. I love that we have a genuinely diverse and inclusive cast of characters, people of the global majority represented here. We have all body types and abilities. I'm particularly fond of the courts in this. You know, the courts get a bad rap. They can be tricky to read, and they're often not the prettiest like part of a tarot deck, but there are some decks that really do it for me on the court front, and I think I spoke about this in my top 5 tarot decks of the 2023 video from a couple of weeks ago. One of them that really does it for me is the Sasori Bito. The courts in that deck are chef's kiss, and I gotta say the courts, Krista, you did, I mean the whole deck's great, but like I really particularly enjoy the courts. It's the queen, I think it's the Queen of Wands, if I remember correctly, who I think is like my fave. I don't know why, I just really like, look at this Queen of Coins. We also have a Happy Squirrel card, which just tickles me. Come on, camera. That is more like this. I feel like this should be the Sassy Squirrel. But yeah, this is one of the decks I know is going to be like my go-to, like travel. My travel Marseille, because I've got the Brown Witch Lenny on my brain now. Yeah, this is going to be my Marseille. This is going to take over from my Tarot de Celia as my sort of travel Marseille deck. So this is going to be my little, oh, it's so cute, and it's even smaller, so it's like even more portable. So yeah, I mean, I imagine I'll be pulling this even when I am, you know, at home. But as I did with my travel Next World Tarot, got a lot of play this year. But yeah, I'm excited to work with this some more. Another one, a deck that I got from Kickstarter last year, at the end of last year, around Christmas time. And I've used this on and off throughout the year, but not as much as I would like. And it's because to work with it in the way that I have been working with tarot lately, I really want an oracle deck to pair it with, and I haven't found an oracle deck that works. But I think I have two options now that I've been looking at. So I'm gonna, one of them is the Oracle of the Roses, and the other one is something like something in Psyche. Is it Amor and Psyche or something? BB at Pure Red Velvet. I remember seeing it on her channel, and I was like, "Oh, that could work with this." And it's I mentioned him earlier, Jens, Mr. Freeborg of Arcantum. And it's the Taroki by Mr. Freeborg. I didn't pull out the expansion pack. I do have the expansion pack as well, which he very kindly sent me, which was so sweet of him. And yeah, this deck is sexy. It's got Memento Mori vibes because of all of the skulls. Every single like person in it, every single character in it has a skull head rather than sort of a fleshy bonce. It's very much in the sort of Italian pip rather than sort of Marseille. And it's really beautiful. I love that. I always say it, this sort of Delft blue, the sort of Delft China backs. That's just what it reminds me of. The colour looks very Delft blue to me. And I'm just looking forward. So I was just checking 35 minutes on the nose. Yeah, I just want to pull this more. So for me, I need to get an oracle or two that will work with this more. And then I feel like I will be more inclined to pull from it because I'm just really wanting oracle to go with my tarot readings at the moment. So yeah, so this one I want to get more use than I did. I did use it this year, but not as much as I'd liked. Okay, so this one I got in October, I believe, or November. No, September. No, November. What even is time? I've only had this a couple of months. And if not shorter, maybe November, maybe a month. I don't know. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm saying. One of this was sent to me by Artisan Tarot, a Tarot Day Ambiguities. Speaking of things that I didn't get to do that I wanted to do during Take Miss, one of those things was to watch the free lecture by, what's his name, Alejandro Rosan. Depending on whether I think it would be Rosan, because if it was in Spain it'd be Rozan, because there's Z's. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, someone correct me if they know. But yeah, he's got the creator has a lecture that I have been wanting to watch for a while, but I wanted to set a time to properly sit down and focus because my concentration levels are pants. And yeah, so this has been really fun to play with. I've had this on my desk quite a bit, along with the Jacques Vivot, which I was also sent. I've been sort of alternating those sometimes as the deck that I have on my desk to sort of grab and shuffle or look through or work with in a pinch. But I want to watch that lecture and then sort of see what information I glean from that and then sort of take it from there with working with this deck. But it's very fun. It's very darkly humorous, and reads, you know, pretty much as a Marseille. It's in the Marseille style, but make it weird and gory, which I'm all about. So I'm so like tickled to have this, because ever since I first saw it on Marilyn from Tarot Clarity's channel, I was just like, oh, the deck. So yeah, wonderful deck, very fun. So yeah, I think that's the most, I was going to say the most classic. No, I do have two. I've got two Marseilles and a sort of an Italian Tarocchi style. And then the last tarot deck I have to show you is kind of pippish, but not completely. And it's a deck, it's an independent deck. It's been out for a while. I don't know if it's still available, so I'm really sorry if it's not. But it's the Holly Simple Tarot by Holly Simple, and I think the first time I saw this years ago was on Kellyanne Maddox's channel, and it was stocked by, I believe, Little Red Tarot, and this was sent to me by Anna Teresa, who is a tarot and art friend, and yeah, I've used it on and off over the years, but not consistently. I think I used this was one of my decks that I read with and paired with, I think I paired it with the Arcane Bullshit, I can't remember, but I did a week with this and I was, oh man, I'm pretty sure it was this deck. Was it this deck? Did I share that? I can't remember if I shared that pairing on Instagram or not. But basically there was a week this year where I paired this, I want to say the Arcane Bullshit, because even just looking at this deck makes me also think of the Arcane Bullshit. And what a combo. Yes, it was the Arcane Bullshit. I don't know if I did another week, maybe pairing it with the empty cup. And again, I don't know if I've shared some of my weekly pairings on Instagram and some of them I haven't. And I sort of trailed off towards the end of the year because I was getting really burnt out doing sharing my daily readings on Instagram. Sometimes with context, sometimes without, if it was very personal reading. But it's just so weird. I love me some weird. I don't know if you've noticed. So I wanna give this some more play. I'm excited. So yeah, and it's a nice size. It's more like the size of Fournier decks. I really love Fournier decks. They have a really nice size, really nice card stock, really decent price. Who was it? Someone else was talking about Fournier decks recently, and I was like, yeah, Fournier decks actually I really enjoy them. I've got a few of them, and they don't get the love that they deserve. And there's a few that I would like to get as well. Oh, I think it was Sylvie over at Tarot Magpie that was talking about them. So, hey, Sylvie. Yeah, excited to work with this. I mean, even the box has like a severed finger. And then there's and it's like foiled. And the eyeballs. Lots of eyeballs. And then the last two are Oracle decks. So, one Oracle deck I've been really enjoying this month. On the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know what even is time, as I always like to say, is the Literary Witches Oracle. This is the deck that is very close to my heart because I did do the Literary Witches project through 2020 with Becca, and I so I just realised that my tea's going to go really cold. And if you don't know what that is, I would shuffle the deck, pick a writer from the writers section. This deck, if you don't know, this deck has 2 sections. You have the writers, the literary witches, the eponymous literary witches, and then you have item cards that sort of link to the writer's life or work or what have you. And what I would do was shuffle this. For Furuxad, it was, I think, the first draw actually for January 2020, the before times, and we would pick a piece of literature from the writer's opus, read that, and then at the end of the month do a live chat about the book, like a book. It was basically like a book club, but at the beginning of the month, I would always do a mini biography. I would really sort of dig in and research the lives and works of these writers. And they didn't get the best views because, you know, it's probably not interesting to a lot of people, but I found it a really interesting project to do. And I learned loads about some really interesting women, and I'm very proud of that project and what I managed to achieve, and it was something I stuck to for an entire year. So if you're interested in literature and tarot and magic and learning about cool women, all of those little biography videos are still up, as are the live chats. But I've been really enjoying this one. I hadn't pulled as much in the last couple of years, and then just sort of intermittently. And then for some reason I just glommed onto it this month, and it's been pairing, I think I shared this in another video, it's been pairing so well, which is really throwing me off. I wasn't expecting them to pull. With the Chicoli Tarot, the readings I have been getting from this combo has been blowing my mind. Like, the artwork is so different, yet somehow they work together. And the way they speak to each other, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this maybe in last week's video then, or the video before that, I can't remember. Wow. So I'm continuing to work with the Literary Witches Oracle with the Chicoli Tarot. And now I'm like, can I find some other really powerful combos? Finding tarot and oracle combos that really work super well together has been one of my favorite things with cartomancy this year. Really just really enjoying it. So I really want to carry on, although I'm already working with it, but I just want to carry on. And the last deck is another oracle deck, and it's a deck that I got, I think it was for Christmas last year. and I was very intimidated with it. A bit like the Weaver's Oracle. I was very intimidated, but I've had it for a few years now, and it is now a part of my solar return spread that I do on my birthday each year. I'll be doing my third. That I designed my own spread for solar. It can be solar return as in for your birthday, or it can be a New Year's spread. Actually, because it is coming, it could be New Year's Eve tomorrow, I will see if I can remember to link the video, and the video has like a link to a graphic and everything showing you how to lay out the cards, and the video shows you how to sort of go through that. And it utilizes like a handful of decks. I mean, you can use one deck if you only have one deck, but it's really good if you have like multiple tarot and oracle decks and you want to have a spread that utilizes more than one deck. I tried to remember to link that down below, because it can be used as a New Year's spread or a solar return spread. But I have been using the Weaver's Oracle for my quarterly cards. So every 3 months I have a new Weaver. I've been doing that for 2022 and this year, and I intend to do that next year as well, with the spread that I designed for myself. Because I used to always do those like one tarot card for 12 months, and maybe one for a season, one like oracle card for each season occasionally, and then have like the card of the year, not for the year like universally, but the card of the year personally. So my year card this year is Temperance, next year is the Devil, and I think this year was a Chariot year, I believe, or is next year a Chariot year? Can't remember. Anyway, so hang on, 24. No, is this year Hierophant? Hang on, 20, 22, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, so next year is a Strength card then, isn't it? Strength. This year was Chariot. And that makes sense, because I feel like I have been doing this all the way through the year, and not in an exciting way. I feel like I've been white knuckling it in like it's been a really awful ride kind of way, and I've just been shitting myself all the way through. So, oh, that's a lovely image then. But yeah, so I will continue to do that, because I wasn't really getting much out of that one card a month thing. I did it for a few years, and then I was like, I'm bored of this, I'm not really going back to it. So I decided to design my own, which has like, it's got very different. Anyway, go check it out down below. I'm chatting. Anyway, I was meant to be showing the final deck, and it's the Archetype Oracle, Wild Unknown Archetype deck, whatever you want to call it. The Wild Unknown Archetypes. They don't call it an oracle, they call it the Wild Unknown Archetypes. Now, my dear friend T over at Cosmic Creepers Tube really rates this deck. And I used this a little bit this year, but I don't think I was really getting what I could out of it. I actually really like it. I know some people don't. I feel like the low quality sort of pixelated diamond, it feels like a picture that was blown up, and it just looks a bit not great. I would prefer if it was a higher resolution, but whatever. But yeah, I do like that it's this combination of collage and line work and watercolor. I find it really interesting. I find the concept of the deck really interesting. I think there's going to be a mini version of this. I would actually like the mini version, because this one is so big. And I know it's not for everyone, but I have super loved my mini Wild Unknown and my weenie. I wanted to say mini and wee at the same time, and it came off as weenie. Oh my god. Sorry. My me. I can't even speak now. Fuck my life. My mini Animal Spirits Oracle. There, I got it out. I don't have a full-size Animal Spirits. I guess I don't really need it, but I kind of want it. I don't know. But I really like this deck. Has a structure to it, has a system to it. It can be used in loads of different ways. It's round. I'm throwing it everywhere. Hang yeah, I just want to get more out of it. And I don't think I've really worked out how to get the best out of this. I should talk to T about this and ask her. I'm sure she's made videos about it that I've probably missed because I am just yeah, because I'm rubbish. But yeah, so anyway, so that's the last deck that I would like. These are all decks I'd like to make a concerted effort. Well, I don't feel like it has to be a concerted effort, but I mean, I'm clearly gonna be playing with this as soon as possible. But yeah, so wow, that happened. So 2023, a day and a half left. It's 25 past 12 in the afternoon, so pretty much a day and a half left. In a day and a half it will be next year. So with all that, what decks did you like the most? Which decks would you be most interested to read out of the ones that I have picked here? What are your picks for 2024? Oh, I forgot to mention decks that I have on my wish list. So decks that I have, I mean realistically, I always say this, if time, money and space to keep them were no option, there's like probably like I could probably pick at least another 50 more decks, maybe 100 more decks that I would just add to my collection because I want all the things, but realistically that's never going to happen. So I have to be very sort of select about what I pick. Decks that I have on my wish list. The Estrella Tarot. Ash Estrella released a second edition of her Estrella Tarot, and unfortunately it was just at a time, it came out just at a time that I was unable to plumb for that, so that is on my wish list. The Pipspeak Tarot again came out just at a time where I was just not able to pick up a copy, unfortunately. So that is one that I'd like to get in the new year, because I have been eagerly following the creation of that, and I just it's so cute. Tareki 23 by Tarot Midnight. That one is another one like a spin on a classic tarot. The Golden Universal Tarot I would really like. I think it's because this year I watched Living for the Dead, and what's his name? Is it Ken? Is it Ken, or am I getting confused? The guy with he always has the hats, and he's adorable, and the glasses, the little fingerless gloves and the jackets, you know, the guy, he uses the most beat up, like worn looking copy of the Golden Universal Tarot, and I'm like, I want it now. But then I've wanted for ages since it came out, that Golden Tarot de Marseille. I just want blingy stuff, I don't know, give me the bling. And yeah, there's other ones. I'm waiting on the fulfillment of the game Marseille on Kickstarter. That's an ongoing project that Charlie Claire Burgess has, and I believe they also have a Lenormand coming out next year rather, 2024, which I'm looking forward to, if that is actually indeed a thing that is going to be happening. And there are many more, but those are the ones that are sort of at the forefront of my mind. This has gotten way longer than it should be. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for you know, watching my videos just generally. If you are new to this channel and you want to stick around, yay, welcome. If you have been with me all year or for many years, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. It's been a rocky one for a lot of us, I think, and I'm just surprised I've even been able to manage to keep making videos, honestly, because there have been times where it's been a struggle. But I do like making videos, but it can be difficult when things are not good. Whether that's health or just general life stuff, or just all sorts of things, especially when it's all going on at the same time. So yeah, I really appreciate you, that, you know, people that take the time out of their day to, you know, whether you're listening to me in the background whilst you are doing something, or you are just sitting with a cup of tea and watching, or like actively like watching me, this mug right now, like in real time. Whether you speed me up for double speed, whatever it is, I just really appreciate you. People that like take the time to comment and reply and have little chats in the comment sections, really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna say this has all gotten really long and really long and rambly. So thank you. I hope wherever you are watching this that you are safe and that you are well, and I will see you in the new year. Ciao.